Hi, Phil here with Diode Dynamics. We're going to take a look at the basic installation procedure for our new Switchback LED DRL board replacements for the 2017 Chevy Silverado. I'll show you how to remove the factory boards and replace them with your Diode Dynamics LED Switchback upgrades. Installation does require opening the headlight and will require just a couple simple tools. Let's go ahead and get started. Once you've got the headlights out of your truck, you are going to need to separate the lens from the back housing itself. Now this generally requires indirect heat to soften the glue. This is our R&D headlight, so we've already done this, and excuse us, it is a little bit banged up. But we're going to go ahead and simply remove this guy now to gain access to the boards themselves. Once you have this done, go ahead and set this guy out of the way because this is all we need access here. With the lens off of the headlight, we'll now have access to the reflectors that we need to get removed. Now, as I said, our R&D headlight is missing a couple of screws here, but we'll need to take a T20 Torx bit to remove the 6 screws that hold these reflectors in place. Go ahead and get started with those now. As I stated, we are missing 2. Generally there would be 4 here, but once you have those done, go ahead and remove that bottom reflector. Now we'll remove the top reflector that actually houses the boards. Once your reflector is loose, go ahead and pull that straight out, and then you want to disconnect the connector from the stock board. And then you can go ahead and set the housing itself aside. With the reflector out of the housing, we'll now have access to the 4 screws that we're going to need to remove in order to get these stock boards out. These 3 here, and then we'll have a 4th one on the small black board at the top here that we'll need to take out. Simply back those guys out and set them aside. Now that you have all your screws out, you'll simply lift out the stock boards. Now you go ahead and put in your factory replacements, your Diode Dynamics boards, that will match up with the same tabs and mounting points. And return the screws. Once you have the new boards mounted, we can move on to the wiring connections to get these guys up and running. Now that we have our boards installed into the reflector assembly, we're going to need to get these wired up. You'll have an included wiring harness that's for use to run the wiring inside the headlight and get it outside to connect to the driver. This will be this guy here with the 2 connections. It doesn't really matter which one goes to which. This will kind of be dictated on how you plan to run the wiring out of the headlight. I'm going to connect the longer one to the bottom board and the shorter one to the top. Once you have that done, we can actually return our reflector to the housing to finish our installation. Now that we have everything mounted up, we're going to need to get this put back into the assembly. This is what I was referring to that needs to be run out of the headlight assembly. Now we're not going to cover that because there are varying different ways you can do that, but whatever works best for your installation. You just want to simply make sure the headlight is resealed, and that way you don't get any condensation or water ingress. Once you got everything kind of put down, simply run the board reflector over the posts and line up the screw holes, and then you can return the top screw holes now. Just kind of leave them loose for right now just to make sure it doesn't move around on you. We'll come back and tighten those up in a second. Now we're going to return our turn signal reflector to the housing, which goes over the top reflector. Again, lining up the holes and returning the screws. Once you have everything installed, make sure everything's in place, Simply go ahead and tighten all these screws back down, and then you're ready to reseal up your headlight. We hope this video was helpful in getting your Switchback DRL boards installed and up and running in your truck. If you have any further questions, please visit us at diodedynamics.com or use our dealer locator to find an installer near you. Thanks for watching.